What's up, Jets fans? My name is Kayla Pace, and welcome to Pace's Playbook. I'll be working with the guys over at playlikeajet.com to bring you my takes on all things New York Jets. A little bit about me first. I'm from North Jersey, and I've been a lifelong Jets fan. I went south for college to the University of South Carolina to get my experience in SEC football and my degree in broadcast journalism. I had the honor of covering all Gamecock sports when I was a student there, including traveling with the football team to some away games my senior year, getting to cover the women's basketball team on their route to a national championship, and getting to witness the historic men's Final Four run. It was really awesome, and I loved my experience in South Carolina, but after graduation, I moved on to Texas to take a job as the weekend sports anchor at a small local TV station in Amarillo. Now, for anyone who doesn't know where Amarillo is, I describe it as in the little square on top of Texas, the Texas Panhandle, crazy weather, really awesome people, and Friday night lights. The environment of Texas high school football really helped me grow as a reporter and as a fan of the game. They live and breathe it, and I absolutely loved it. After my contract was up there, I came back home to New Jersey, and now I work at CBS Sports in New York City in the research department. And it's very different from what I did as a reporter. I'm behind the camera now, and my job is to make sure that the talent and the producers are prepped with like the most interesting stats and information that they could have, something to distinguish our broadcasts and teach people about the most important storylines going on in the sport. At the end of the day, all of my experiences working in and watching sports come back to one thing, and that's the Jets. I love live tweeting the games on Sundays and reading what other fans think online, and I hope you'll stick around to hear what I have to say. Now, the beauty and the challenge of football is that there's no one way to run a team to get them to a championship, so sometimes maybe you'll think I'm wrong. I welcome dissenting opinions as long as they're respectful, and hey, maybe we can figure it out together. So let's get started. So I'll start off with a rather hot topic, Jets GM Joe Douglas. His name has been all over Twitter this week, and I understand why with the start of free agency and the Jets missing out on some of the top signings that they were hoping to get. Now, I weighed in on this earlier in the week on Twitter, and I'll read the tweet right now. Reminder to the Jets fans on the timeline, your GM could be the best talent evaluator on the planet, and it wouldn't matter when a free agent wants to win a Super Bowl with Mahomes over coming to a 3-13 team. Now, I know they went 2-14, that was my mistake. Clearly, I'm just giving them too much credit. Not getting the top free agents because they want to win now is not a reflection of Joe Douglas. Now, I got a mixed bag of reviews on this take, and I understand why. Everyone has every right to be frustrated with Douglas, the organization, the Jets as a whole. I get it, I do. I watch all of these games, and they're bad. The team has not been good in a really long time. Now, I know Joe Douglas was brought here on the promise that he would turn the team around, and he would be the one to get all of the great players in the building. And I still think that's a strong possibility. Now, with Joe Douglas, I think it's fair to evaluate that his free agent signings last year did not pan out and were not successful, especially on the offensive line. And he does need to find a way to revamp that group and make them better and stronger. That being said, I don't think that getting a player like Joe Thuney, who wants to sign with a contender to win a Super Bowl, to come to a 2-14 team who's still rebuilding after all these years, I don't think that has any reflection on him. And I think that any offensive lineman that wants to play in a more established group, it makes sense because it's not on their backs to rebuild the whole group. And I think that the key here is going to be rebuilding through the draft for the Jets because you have to get good talent in the building to attract more good talent. So let's take a team like the Arizona Cardinals, who, by the way, are doing very well in free agency. In 2019, they hire Cliff Kingsbury as their head coach, and he goes out and gets his own guy at quarterback, Kyler Murray. They go out and go 5-10-1 together in their first season, with Murray showing a lot of promise. Then that offseason, once again, not on the free agent market, they make a trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Hopkins comes in, the Cardinals look like a different team, not just because of him, but it was a huge addition to their offense. Murray got to show a lot more of his potential with better weapons on the fields, and they built up together. The team goes 8-8. They're in very close games against top teams in the league, and now here we are in 2021, 2 seasons later, and they're getting players like J.J. Watt who are choosing to come there. J.J. Watt's been a star in the league for years. He wanted to sign with the Arizona Cardinals among the many teams that wanted him. And now today they signed A.J. Green. That team is trending upwards. They're on the right track. New head coach comes in and you start the timeline from there. And I think that's how Jets fans need to approach the timeline of what the Jets should be doing next. I mean, the Jets are coming off one of the worst eras of their team ever. The Adam Gase era was just horrible, and there was a genuine feeling that we were going to go 0-16 last season. You don't go from being a 2-14 team and hiring a shiny new head coach and thinking that all of a sudden everyone wants to play there. It's still a process, and it's going to be a process. I know we are all tired of waiting. I am so tired of waiting. I'm not 100% sold on his talent evaluating skills yet either. I was not trying to say in that tweet that I was. But I do think that we have to give him a shot, because even the players that you bring in the last 2 years where Douglas has been around, were they really given a chance to thrive? Like, was Adam Gase's system really a good fit for anybody? Did he know how to use players properly? I think that that is a huge factor that's just being overlooked by a lot of people. Like, raw talent is one thing, but schematic fit is totally different. So I think we need to give Joe Douglas a chance to go through the draft, show that the team's trending up, go from 2-14 to 8-8 or 9-8 or however many games they decide to play this year. I think that is going to be crucial in the turnaround and going into the free agency class. Now, I know a lot of people are frustrated because they think that if quarterback had been taken care of prior to free agency, then maybe we could have gotten better free agents. And I see what you're saying, and I agree with that. I think if we had Deshaun Watson on the team, more players would want to come play here. If that's not the route that they're going to go, then we're going to have to build through the draft. And just throwing money at players that are already established is not a sustainable model long-term for the team. So I think that we're still on the right track, and Douglas should still have the opportunity to prove himself, because now he's on the same page as his head coach that he helped hire. They are at an understanding of what they're planning to do with the team, or at least I would hope that they are at this point. And we have to give them a chance to work together and be a team going forward, because we're not going to magically be good overnight. I know everyone wishes that we could be, but the Jets are still a couple seasons away, and we're all sick and tired of hearing it, but Joe Douglas is not a magician. That's all for the first episode of Pace's Playbook, with hopefully many more to come. I'll be taking on trending topics among Jets fans, and please feel free to reach out and let me know what you want to hear. I'll see you soon.